Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's review, we're going to be taking a look at Driven Out. This game is developed by No Pest Productions and published by Jen Kolmar. So thanks to them and IndieBoost for the early copy of this game and making this video possible. So Driven Out is a pretty challenging 16-bit kind of 2D side scroller. It's one of those games that kind of remind me of really classic games all the way back to maybe Untitled Beast or something like that, just because of the graphic style and the animations and just the environment in general. And obviously that's a good thing. I really do like games like Untitled Beast. I always thought that there should be a lot more games like that, especially in difficulty wise, and this game is definitely a challenging game. So in this game you are a farmer that randomly comes across some kind of alien contraption. And to be honest, that's really all you get as far as story. But it's pretty cool because you can kind of tell just with the animations and the movement in this game that you are really just a farmer and you're not somebody that knows how to wield a sword, even though you obviously do get a sword at the start of the game, quite ironically from a knight that kind of trips over or whatever. And you pick up this sword, and really it's really cool because like every time you swing you can see that the character's kind of struggling with the sword, especially after the swing when she tries to recover. And I don't know, I think that's a neat little touch that they gave this game, that you can really tell that it's not somebody that's experienced with a sword. But anyway, let's talk about the gameplay. So this game is very simple in gameplay, but at the same time it's very challenging with a very high skill ceiling. So what this game is basically a 2D side scroller, and you're going to have 3 types of attacks and 3 types of defense, and that's really pretty much about it. Oh, and you can press a button to turn around as well. So what you have got is not really a rock paper scissors style thing, because it's not down to luck in any way, it's pure skill. But it's kind of like that. So basically if you press one button it will do a high attack, another button will do a medium attack, and another button will do a low attack. And at the same time you've got a high, mid and low defend. So it's all about predicting what the enemy is going to do with their wind up. Some animations can be a bit difficult to read because this game is a bit of a trial and error game. The first time you maybe face an enemy, you are going to struggle in realizing what it's going to do, especially certain enemies. I'm looking at you, weird bird thing. God damn it. That bird sat there for ages. But yeah, maybe it's because also some attacks on certain enemies, I think they should have maybe added 1 or 2 frames in certain attacks. Like I know they went with this kind of old school classic style, but certain attacks, just to make them a bit more predictable, should have maybe had 1 or 2 more frames to allow you to react. But not on all enemies, just very specific ones again. But yeah, that's basically what it is. It's not a game where you can just try and swing first. In most cases, you do have to at least defend once. And after defending, you should be able to get 1 hit in. It's not one of those games where you're going to just go at him kind of thing, because that's definitely not going to work. The cool thing about this game is that you have 3 hit points, I guess you could call them. And they have their hit points. Obviously, if it's a boss, they're going to have more hit points. But what I do find cool is, like, no matter how strong the attack is, they're always going to do 1 hit point to you if they hit you, and you're always going to do one hit point to them when you hit them. Now, you can also kind of parry in this game. So if, for instance, they do a medium swing and you block a medium swing just before it hits you, it will kind of knock them back a bit more and normally give you time to do 2 hits. And really that's the point, because if you could only get 1 hit in, what's the point of parrying? The only point of parrying is that you're not going to do a critical, but normally it will give you time to do 2 hits. Certain enemies, not bosses specifically, but certain enemies will require you to do certain moves, like this bug. He's completely armored middle and top. You're going to have to do a downswing or a upward swipe or whatever from the bottom, you know what I mean? And this is going to tip him over, and then you're going to be able to get a few hits on him. And to be honest, with the rest of the enemies, it seems to not really matter what kind of attack you use. It's more about what kind of defending you use, because, you know, like I said before, each attack is going to do 1 hit point, as long as it contacts him, as long as it hits him. So with a lot of the enemies, I think it's kind of pointless to have in like a top or bottom or middle, whatever. You can just do whatever one you want for the most part, except for these very specific enemies, like I said before, like this bug. As far as the map goes, I really do like the design. The 16-bit, again, reminds me of games like IndieBoost. I really do like it. Some of the animations are really good. But on the other hand, the map could be a bit bigger because you are going to be coming back to a lot of the areas that you've already been in. You're going to do a lot of backtracking, and maybe after backtracking to the same area, there's going to be new bosses and new enemies. And it's all a bit weird. Obviously, it's not hard to find the next area because if you can't continue, you just go back and chances are there's going to be new enemies there. It would have maybe been a bit better if they could have put maybe 2 more areas in. But yeah, that's the only really big complaint. It's not even that big, I guess. There are optional bosses. I believe if you go through the game once, there is very little chance that you're going to meet all the bosses unless you know exactly what you're doing. If you complete the game, after you complete the game, you kind of get this extra mode kind of thing where you have to go back to the start, and there's even tougher enemies. I really do like the bosses' designs. For the most part, all the normal enemies are quite normal. They've got, you know, like I said, quite basic attacks. But some of the enemies, some of the bosses do have quite unique attacks on them, and their style and everything is quite unique and just cool to look at. And really, that's all I've got to say about the game. I mean, it's actually quite addictive just because of how simple it is and how it's all about skill. Unlike these other really hard classic games, you do actually get checkpoints in this one. You actually are going to be placing checkpoints wherever you want with the contraption that you get right at the start. The enemies can actually destroy it, which is kind of interesting as well. You can't just place it and then run away. And it makes you think about where you want to place them because you do have a limited amount in between boss areas. So yeah, really enjoyable just because of how simple it is. So from me, it's going to be a 7.5 out of 10. This is only about a $15 game, so it's definitely worth checking out. This is going to be available on PC, PS4 and Xbox One, October the 18th. So hopefully this review was helpful, guys. If it was, please go like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please consider supporting me over on Patreon. This will allow me to get more games and produce more videos. Thanks ever so much for the support. Take care, guys.